I'm Margaret in Windsor, and I wanted to put this up, and I realize how bad I look at the moment. From just a month ago or a few weeks ago, it's taken its toll, the chemicals used here that I've had to inhale. And I'm allergic to chemicals. I have a immune disorder, autoimmune disorder. And when I'm around toxic fumes, especially used in remodeling and some household cleaners, glues, and etc., and when they have the air conditioning turned up and you shouldn't be able to smell it, well, for some reason people tune this out. I don't know. You can't film it, but I can tell about it. It's so high that it just about kills me, and I have to turn it off. I can't use it. And it's hot here. Now, I want you to look at how I look here. If you've got different photos of me just in the past couple of days or week, how I've aged, how tired I look, and drawn and all that. That's from inhaling the chemicals. Everybody knows what's going on. I put it all up on YouTube and Facebook, and I put up to show part of what's happened and going on. I've shown Hustler magazine. Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, and the shooter was programmed to shoot Mr. Flint and kill his attorney. So I'm not going to go on with like Virginia Tech. I live in Roanoke now, so have since '86. So I've continued to tell about the mind control murders, and oddly enough, I was brought over to the United States kidnapped, and the Illuminati, Freemasons, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers, Kennedys, Roosevelt, and my own family there, illegal George VI, and Elizabeth has continued the illegal line, are responsible for my kidnapping. They control the press. So the press isn't going to tell this unless somehow it keeps going and they're forced to. But anyway, I've told about these murders, and I'll go ahead and say Virginia Tech, Fort Hood shooter was born here in Roanoke. He's a psychiatrist, and he's on death row. So I could go on and on. Mark David Chapman shot John Lennon. And when I was working for the district attorney in Huntsville in '80, and the DA's name was Fred Simpson, as in Wallace Warfield Simpson, that was supposed to marry the Duke of Windsor. Well, that was all a lie. My dad was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe from America, sister to artist George O'Keefe. So it's been a takedown of my father. Hideous crimes done to him and told about him, and kidnapped me and brought me and gave me the name of a twin. And I have to use the name Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers. My real name is Victoria II, Queen Victoria II, the day I was born. An addendum to the forced removal of my father with nothing but lies. And it went through channels and is legal. So that would have brought my father back. And that's when they had to kidnap me. And, well, that kind of ended anything my father and mother could do unless they got me back. So anyway, I ended up working for doctors and writing about mind control murders. One of them that I wrote about was U.S. Congressman Larry McDonald from Atlanta and Piedmont Hospital there. And my attorney actually gave me a deposition. It was taken. The police come in and took all the other files. And I could keep on going, though, about Jean Strokerman. She was gunned down, and Dr. Hardiman, he's a psychiatrist. So you get mental health involved in this, blaming mental illness for mind control murders and programming. And one has nothing to do with the other. One's a disease, an illness that a person can't help. The other, they can't help either. It's programming imposed on them without their knowledge or consent. So you talk about freedom of speech and freedom of this. You have no freedom when someone, an agency or whoever, has placed mind control. And most people wouldn't even know it. If they did and tried to tell it, went for help, the psychiatrist would have or the doctor would have them locked up and feed them psychotic drugs. So where are all the psychiatrists on this? They're not speaking out, telling the truth. You tell me they don't know? Yes, they do. What I wanted to say also was that I've stayed here. I've gone to the media. I've gone when I had the money to D.C., etc., to Huntsville, Alabama. and I get blocked. I have to come back here. The media already knows it. They knew about my kidnapping before I ever did. So, and they're controlled by the Rockefellers, the war criminals that kidnapped me. So now then, I could list, the odd thing I've said is that the media, the one that covers the mind control murders that were done in patterns, is quite odd, because there's got to be a whole bunch of things that happen in this world that aren't connected with patterns and aren't mind control. And that's kind of odd when I think about it, why they're doing it. They certainly aren't for me. But I wanted to get to this when I came here October of '86. And by the way, my mom and dad were both alive then, and that came from the best sources possible. They were still alive. And so the man posing as my father and became the illegal Duke of Windsor is buried in 1972 on the grounds of Windsor Castle, where Obama went and spent a couple of nights, or one night anyway, and his family in Windsor Castle with Elizabeth, and they brought out little William and his rocky horse. And look at me and my kids, and you can't see what they've done to me. That's what would really flip everybody if they ever saw what they did to me and my sons. So I kept on telling about I didn't have money. They've kept me shut down, really. And my immune system attacks itself when I'm around toxic fumes. And over time, the accumulation, like they're talking about the mosquitoes, the Zika virus, and spraying, people are complaining about the spraying because the chemicals accumulate in your lungs, your body, your kidneys, and ruin them. And that's exactly what's happened to me. And there's no cure. You have to get away from it. You smell it, you have to leave if it's not fixed or stopped. So if I'm rambling, I'm giving you, because I'm going to have to leave here. I've switched rooms, and I know what's happened for a long, long time. And I quote a Virginia State Trooper, retired, Carl Barton's wife, "That's how we make you move." Well, I tell it, and people just flip it off. They don't want to hear it. And you can't film it like you can a knife or a gun or something. But anyway, the man that just did the bombing, the pressure cooker bombing up in Chelsea, New York. A few days ago, I was contacted on Facebook by a lady, and come to find out she lived on Patterson Avenue in Roanoke, right here in Roanoke, which surprised me. Seemed like a very nice lady, and I think she is. And I don't know her, but we chatted for a while, and that's all I'm going to say. She seems like a very nice lady. But here's what happened then. I've told everybody about the San Bernardino that was programmed. The whole mess, it seems, is so widespread. But anyway, the person that they've got that's in a coma, and they're calling him radicalized and all that, they're using a term that should be the truth told. They've been programmed. Has it radicalization? No. No, it wasn't. They were programmed, and they didn't know it, couldn't help it, right down to the breathing. They can do that. And there's no way out for them. And anyway, the last few weeks they've connected him back to Roanoke here, where I've been telling all this, and on Patterson Avenue, where this lady said she lived that contacted me. Now, I don't have any idea if she knew anything about them. I don't know. It wasn't a coincidence, I don't think. You're talking about things being brought together on a timeline that is too much, because I know myself how much this country and the use of mind control has evolved. Snowden just touched the tip of the iceberg on this whole thing. So I wanted to say this too about, they've used my son's name's Mark and Scott in a lot of the murders, and the other one is twins, like Gabby Gifford, Tucson, Arizona, was married to Mark Kelly, a twin, Scott Kelly, both astronauts. And it's being used a lot. Anyway, in Charlotte, North Carolina, the blacks have, they band together and they march, and the media picks up on it. Isn't it strange they don't touch the murders that are mind controlled, that are blacks involved? And I'm talking about blacks being victims involved in it. Why don't they tell that? They have the power that I don't have. The media won't touch anything concerned with to me, because it'd go back to my kidnapping and the ugly crimes committed by these people. They're war criminals. Now, the man that was shot up there in Charlotte, was last name was Scott. And let me say this. I mean, anybody, if they stop and think, what's stopping programming the policemen or law enforcement? And they come out and they shoot, and that's what's going on, part of it. It is. So anyway, they've linked that, the bombing, pipe bombing, up in New York, Chelsea, to here in Roanoke, where I'm living, if you call this living. And look at me. I can't believe the way I look as opposed to a week or 2 weeks ago, what it's done to me. I move, and the same thing happens, and nobody will do anything about it except tell me to get the hell out or call me names. So I'm going to let this go, and you think about what I've said until somebody has an uprising and forces the media to tell the truth. It won't stop. At this point, I don't know if I'll ever see my sons Mark and Scott again. I don't know if they're alive. And paying back and trying to help Great Britain, because they have been so done in. Look at them. Look what's happened to them. And that's what's kept me alive, and the fact that I want to live every breath I can. But I'm 77 years old. Look at me. And look at me, how I've changed just the last couple of months. That inhaling the fumes and being moved from room to room. And I'm going to have to, what?